Good afternoon, beautiful people. This is Freedom Fighter. Today is Wednesday, June the 22nd. This article that I'm going to break down by Goldilocks is phenomenal. It actually, we can consider as if it is three different articles that Goldilocks has combined into one. Just think of it such as like a big piece of a puzzle, a big puzzle with three big pieces that Goldilocks has actually put together in one piece. All right, globally, three big global pieces that Goldilocks has put into one article in one piece so that we can understand and comprehend. All right, and what this article is going to do that Goldilocks has provided, it's going to help us to set expectations of how we can plan moving forward in preparation for this event. Now, think of it as having a short-term plan and long-term plan. Why? Because what Goldilocks is going to share with us in this article is what we can expect in the short term, midterm, and long term. So I know you may want to understand what's short, what's long. You're going to understand when I go through this article and break it down. The most important is that you realize that it's best to have a plan in preparation for your exchange versus not having a plan. Like the saying goes, if you fail to plan, then you're planning to fail. We don't want you to fail. We want you to have a plan with the proper expectations. So here we go. Goldilocks opens by quoting, "Open banking is a financial services model that allows third-party developers to access financial data in traditional banking systems through application programming interfaces, or APIs. This model completely changes the way financial data is shared and accessed." Now, all of you, I would imagine, if not 99.9% of you listening to this audio, you're very familiar with this, but you don't know that you are. The next paragraph Goldilocks has, you'll understand, you do understand what this really means. An open banking protocol, i.e. the Lobster app or Coinbase, not only brings in multiple generational clients to the traditional banking system through a decentralized and regulated digital financial system, it allows for banking systems around the world to create transparent mechanisms whereby we share what we know with each other, creating a quantum technological system that allows each of us to grow around the world together. Where we go one, we go all. Now let's look. When Goldilocks mentions Coinbase, for example, as an open banking protocol, bringing in multiple generational clients, folks from around the world into a traditional banking system, decentralized, think of, for example, Coinbase, like Goldilocks says. Think of Venmo, Cash App, Zelle. Think of where you have apps on your phone that people around the world have the same apps on their phone. People in Iraq, people in Zimbabwe, people in Tanzania, people in Germany, multiple generational clients, people of all ages around the world have these new technological systems, all decentralized, meaning they are connected to the banks, but you and I have control on a decentralized system of our funds. You control Coinbase, Cash App, Zelle, Venmo. Now, it's very interesting and no coincidence of the timing today where the debt clock, which is where the numbers and the messages come from the U.S. Treasury, has actually stating where it says It's a bankless savings account all in one, and showing us our currency backed by commodities, gold, silver, and other commodities on the debt clock today. Goldilocks has also shared the image of the debt clock. This is similar to what Goldilocks is describing here in this particular paragraph about an open banking protocol that brings in multiple generational clients from around the world. We're talking about privacy here, folks, that's being implemented. We're talking about freedom and control of our own destiny right here, what Goldilocks is sharing about the banking system. Next paragraph. When someone on the other side of the world creates a mechanism to enhance the banking system, every country in the world gets to share its benefits. This is why Goldilocks says, where we go one, we go all. This is a leveling of the playing field. This levels the playing field, Goldilocks says, of knowledge base between countries, giving everyone in every country an equal chance to grow based on a collective ability to enhance the human race through a spirit of cooperation. Now, think of short term, ladies and gentlemen. On June the 30th, 2024, our markets and crypto assets, known as MiCA regulations, will become law. This begins to pressure countries around the world to begin operating on the new QFS. This begins to allow pressures on countries. Although, yes, this is coming out of Europe, MiCA regulations, and this law out of Europe. But the domino effect and the ramifications of all countries around the world will be affected. Why? Because they will follow the similar regulations and laws of MiCA coming out of Europe. This is not exclusive to Europe. This is a global movement and regulations coming out of Europe. Goldilocks continues. As technologies continue to onboard to the quantum financial system, we now have a set of rules and protocols that will standardize the process no matter where you bank in the world. So here we have a set of standards that will and protocols that will standardize the process. So here we have a blueprint, a baseline, a milestone that can be reached based on a set of protocols, the foundation of being set. Think of protocols being a foundation that's being set to build something, to build a system, to build a house, to build your future. Goldilocks continues. Once this system is turned on, we are going to have some credit valuation adjustments to deal with going forward. We've mentioned previously, and Goldilocks has shared, when you see credit valuation adjustments, you can think of other words as also known as the valuation or adjustments in the valuation of prices, or the revaluation or adjustment of prices, or the adjustments of values. Hence the name and the term credit valuation adjustments, the adjustments on the values of assets. Goldilocks continues. The stablecoin XRP will begin moving goods and services around the world through a digital payment system. SWIFT, that is, utilizing ISO 222 messaging to describe the transaction in the standardized protocol. So here we have the protocol and the language such as SWIFT that will transcribe or translate goods and services and digital assets around the world through the banking system. When you think of SWIFT, SWIFT is actually connected to every central bank around the world. The Central Bank of Iraq, the Federal Reserve Bank here in the United States, which is the U.S.'s central bank, the State Bank of Vietnam, which is their central bank, the Central Bank of Venezuela, whatever country, for the currency that you hold, that country and their central bank has SWIFT that is connected to it and has been for over 40 or 50 years. What recently Goldilocks shared in an article about a month ago is that SWIFT upgraded their system to ISO 222 messaging system. This is how XRP stablecoin, and all of the currencies and assets around the world will be able to move through the QFS on the banking system. And guess what? Our currencies that will be backed by the assets will be able to move through the QFS through this protocol. Goldilocks continues. Eventually, Ripple and Stellar have a digital ledger technological system that will record each transaction utilizing their ISO 222 protocols as well. When you think of Ripple, many may not know, but since we're all aware of Iraq, I'll say Iraq is connected with Ripple. How? Well, Goldilocks shared that article as well about a month ago, where Ripple partnered with Temenos, which is a Ripple partner, and went live in their banking system about a month ago. There are other banks throughout the world that have done the same through protocols that are partnered with Ripple, which is where our XRP, which will move our currencies through the digital system with assets such as gold and silver, will move. I'll continue. Goldilocks says it is expected that XRP stablecoin will move digital money around the world through countries that have mobilized their financial systems to be ready for this moment. So just think of a global digital movement that's actually instant that is being created here. Goldilocks continues. This will begin. Pay attention, folks, very, very intently what I'm about to share. This will begin to increase demand on those who hold tokenized assets and serve as our first RV in the new digital economy. I expect it to be a gradual process these next few months. Short term, folks, short term. I expect it to be a gradual process these next few months, allowing people to capture new prices in the digital currency markets as new local paper currencies from around the world begin to correlate their market values with demand. So what Goldilocks is sharing is the first RV of the digital and the paper currency markets from around the world will begin to move, expected to move around the world, and the price pressures that are captured, where the capturing of these new prices means that these prices will begin, it's expected they will begin to move. And this is where Goldilocks explains how it will be done. Artificial intelligence will begin to direct many banks around the world. Think of these central banks that I referred to a moment ago. And artificial intelligence will begin to direct many banks around the world into price actions, meaning prices will begin to move. The price actions that will maximize profits for everyone. Yes, you and I and the banks. These price actions will maximize profits for everyone involved in the transaction. What transaction? An exchange? Moving of money? Think about it. Goldilocks continues. And our open banking protocols that Goldilocks mentioned earlier will allow these new digital protocols to adjust new values throughout the day based upon demand automatically. This is what Goldilocks is sharing, is throughout the day. Every day there will become a time where the price pressure and movements on the prices of digital currency and paper currencies around the world should begin to move because of these protocols being implemented and moving in the new QFS. Goldilocks continues. This next paragraph is powerful. Listen to it 10 times if you have to. Prices on goods and services, including currency markets, are expected to be volatile these next few months. What is volatile? What is volatility? Movement. Volatility or volatile is movement of prices. Movement up, down, sideways. Movement. Not stable, not stagnant, not the same, not fixed. Moving. Volatile is movement. Goldilocks continues. It is important that we follow them. We follow these currencies and follow them closely as all these monetary changes around the world move to meet new demands placed on it inside the new digital monetary system. What are the demands that Goldilocks is talking about? Well, the demand for the dinar around the world as it goes international, demand for the dong, demand for the bolivar around the world, demand for all these countries around the world who are dropping the US dollar for their own local currencies in the open global market, on the water, on the ports. This is why Goldilocks says, watch the water. Because the currencies, as countries begin to they are allowed to move their currencies based on supply and demand in the open market internationally, across the waters, across the globe, country to country, trading goods and services amongst each other, their currencies must be used to pay for those goods and services. So if Iraq ships wheat, coal, corn, any good or services to the US, to Vietnam, to any parts of the world, what about the dinar to be utilized? Think of the currencies around the world. Goldilocks continues. On January the 1st, 2025, this is long term, folks. We talked about short term. On January the 1st, 2025, we can expect to see Basel III standards come into play and formulate solid prices for the International Valuation Standards Council to begin creating new values on currencies around the world. The update is the IVSC standards are to begin on January 31st, 2025. That's long term. Between the short term now and long term January 31st, we can expect volatility and movement in the markets. This is where Goldilocks is saying to expect and pay attention to the prices in the market. This is why Goldilocks has mentioned previously to expect floats of currencies in the market. This is where we have to begin paying attention in the short term so that we have an expectation. This is where proper expectations come into play of what you plan, the proper planning of when you're going to exchange at what price in the short term, so that you can have a plan of what you may do in the short term, the medium term, and the long term, which is January 31st of 2025. But what if you have the opportunity in the short term to take advantage of the currency price movements up? Let's pay attention as things begin to move forward in even a more developed pace, ladies and gentlemen, after Micah and other things that Goldilocks will be sharing. I hope this has been helpful. We've brought this to you from a space of love, and we hope that it's been a blessing to you. Take care. We love you.